Welcome to Clean Plates, where every bite tells a story. I'm Brian Romaine, joining you on a culinary journey to understand the whys behind our diets and desires. Joining me today is Stephen Sirvan. Stephen, how are you doing today?
Very well, Brian. Good to see you.
Yeah, no, it's really, really good to see you, man. Things look like they're flourishing, and I'm really, really happy to get into our conversation today. So for everybody out there, Stephen is a woodworker out in the East Coast. He's got his own woodworking shop. It's called Sirvan Custom Woodworking, I believe is how I wouldn't butcher that.
Woodco. Sirvan Custom Woodco. That's it.
Exact.
It's
cool.
Simple. Yeah.
And he's also a lifting and running enthusiast in the community out in New York and the tri-state area. Got a lot of focus that he is going on running right now. I mean, I know you lift a lot too, but it seems like you have been focusing a lot on the running aspect, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I actually toned it down a little bit. I ran the Philadelphia Marathon last November, and after that took a little break because these marathon preps take a abuse on the body. So, and then I just went back into a full build for Hi-Rox, because Hi-Rox is like one of my favorite things to do. That's like my bread and butter, in my athleticism or athletic endeavors. So,
and
so
Hi-Rox is right around the corner.
June 1st, 5 weeks. And then after that, I have a couple of running races.
And you're currently training for all of that?
Yeah, Hi-Rox right now. I toned down that type of running, like the real long distance stuff. I did run a half marathon on some whatever, like casually ran a half marathon a couple weeks ago, but barely trained for it. Did pretty well. Was happy with my time, but Hi-Rox it. And then after that, back to some running races, whatnot.
Awesome. So as far as the Hi-Rox training, what does that entail?
It's a great mix of hybrid. I think that's the ultimate hybrid. I have this whole hybrid athlete, movement or whatever, where I just consider it fitness, like, running and like working out, like, hybrid, like, well, aren't you just fit? Like, but whatever, we can get into that's a whole nother discussion. Don't want to make people mad. So it's running, but also there's a lot of, almost like CrossFit style conditioning workouts. So I don't know if you're familiar with Hi-Rox. It's 8 workouts, 8 runs. So it's almost like a track or like a football field or like a track around the football field. You'll run 0.6 miles because it is from Europe. So obviously everything's in meters, 1,000 meters. Then you do a workout, 1,000 meters, workout, so on and so forth, 8 times each thing. And so there's like a sled push, sled pull. So there is some strength involved in it. There is some more high endurance cardio stuff where you're going to, spike that heart rate. So you want to be able to be pretty well rounded in all aspects, where they say the run is where you actually like catch your breath, sort of, that's like your recovery, but you're still got to run pretty quick because, it's a race. But yeah, so it's a little of everything. So I'm strength training, getting stronger, keeping sort of that running base, but also doing a lot of other stuff as well. That endurance conditioning.
Absolutely. And so would you say that nutrition plays a pretty big role in your training?
Without a doubt. Me personally, I consume because I can lose 5 pounds in a day. I'm 35 years old now, and my metabolism is still so high. Like I played sports my whole life, and I played football my whole life. Even in high school, the amount of calories and food I had to consume just to try to gain weight for football, was insane. And still, for me to even maintain weight or even just, amount of nutrition or food I have to eat every day, the amount of carbs I have to eat every day, protein, just so I don't lose weight, not losing muscle mass, not losing strength is insane. So I'm really dialed in from as soon as I wake up until I go to bed every day with, I have a pretty set routine every day. And then, it's what works for me.
No, I love that because routine is such a key aspect in any athlete's performance or any human being, in my opinion, because whether you're dialing in for work or you're dialing in to go to the gym or et cetera, it's always best to have a routine kind of in place because that comfortability allows you to have things like at your reach. Like you and I right now are both drinking power lifts, and it's just because we just are always
second one.
Exactly. Well, that's me too, because like I've had more than one podcast today. So I already and I already worked at the restaurant that I work at Bonfire from 6 a.m. till about one, I don't know, like almost noon. And so it takes a lot. And so I understand what you're saying with routine, routine, routine. When you wake up in the morning, are you doing morning workouts or are you doing afternoon stuff?
I'm right now more of an afternoon person. I wake up at 5:30 every day, so I get some food in. Usually, I change it up. Like so, it's usually I stick with something, but then maybe tweaks. I was eating Creatures of Habit, the oatmeal for a while, and I changed that up. So now I'm on just these Kodiak because it was a little bit too much for me. Maybe I don't know. These like Kodiak waffles that they're like frozen. Throw a couple in the toaster, and then I'll just make a couple eggs, and I'll make these waffle egg and cheese sandwiches, and eat like one or two of those.
Yeah, I have the mix.
Yeah, exactly. If I don't have time, I'd actually make the real pancakes and whatnot. But and then it's usually every couple hours I'm eating something, until lunch. So it's maybe an hour after that, be like the protein shake and a banana. A couple hours after that, I'll eat like a Pro, just try to keep consistent calories and protein all throughout the day, and try to really make sure I'm eating enough carbohydrates as well.
No, absolutely. So like breaking down for things like work is that same energy output because it's such a physical job. Like you need to keep eating just as much as you're about to go into a workout because your work is a workout.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm on my feet all day. I'm burning calories all day, and it's like 2 workouts a day, especially for like 8 hours. It's all more elongated. It's not like I'm busting my ass for an hour and a half. It's like 8 hours of a consistent slow, So yeah, I have to eat all day, and it does affect my recovery, So I'm not. A lot of people do work out and just like sit at a desk or hang out for a lot. I'm on my feet all day until I go to sleep. Pretty much. There's days I'm literally just going all day. So all of that's so crucial, or I'll lose strength, and it's just.
Oh, I get it. Oh yeah.
Yeah. But I wouldn't have it any other way. I love it. I'm a very active person. So
no, for sure. Do you have any favorite like pre or post workout meals or snacks that you find that are particularly beneficial for the type of training you're doing for Hi-Rox?
Yeah. Obviously, you have some carb. It depends on the time. Like if I'm doing like a Saturday workout, yeah, I'll eat, and then I will work out in the weekend in the morning. During the week, afternoon, weekend is the morning workout. Would be similar to the same breakfast if I'm working out in the morning. During the week or during the weekend, just those the same, Kodiak waffles and a couple eggs. My pre-workout, I don't really do like any of that caffeinated type of stuff. I do love coffee, maybe an espresso shot.
Me either. Yeah, I'm the same way. I like either black coffee or espresso.
I don't like fake caffeine, like not fake caffeine, but like Celsius and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a fan. The only caffeine I'll consume is from coffee. But I do beetroot powder, and I'll just do electrolytes, salt, and that's it, Or I'll have like a honey waffle, like those little honey stingers, or a banana, quick carbohydrate, that kind of carb. So it's just like more of a faster hit. If I'm running, it all depends on the workout, I'd say.
No, I understand what you're saying because I won't name the company.
The bee powder and the salt are like that's pretty a staple.
Right.
It didn't matter what I'm doing,
Right. Yeah. I won't name the company to save them. But the last time I had some pre-workout, it was just too much. I couldn't like enjoy. Even the beta alanine was just like I just couldn't do it.
That can be tough. I've experimented with that. It's and one time I was like sitting in the parking lot of a gym, and I was like feeling crazy. I'm like, I don't know if I didn't even go in. I'm like, I had some beta alanine. I'm like, I don't feel fucking right. I'm like, get me out of here. So I drove home, but I do want to start taking it again. It is great for endurance, but there is like sort of a loading phase, I guess. Like people say like, yeah, I guess you got to suffer for 2 weeks just for it to work. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but.
No, I mean, that checks out too. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember when I think like a year and a half ago when I was going to the gym a lot more often. I mean, I still go 2 to 3 times a week, but because I work 4 days straight, it's like 4 on, 3 off. And so for me, I go those 3 days, but when I was going like 4 or 5 times a week, I guess I can understand because I was taking it a lot more often. So I didn't feel as whacked out after doing it for a while, and you know, but
Yeah, it is a
you know,
whack.
nonetheless, when we were talking about earlier, you know, balancing the work life and the working out, and you're owning your business, and everything's, you know, kind of all happening at once. How do you
Mhm.
balance the energy requirements for your physical activities with woodworking responsibilities that then fuel right into training?
It's like I said, it's just making sure I'm fueled throughout the day. You know, really the recovery is so crucial. That's why I'm in my ice barrel once a day, stretching. You know, like I'm in the sauna multiple times a week. Uh, you know, making sure I'm stretching first thing in the morning, and then, like I said, just the recovery. Um, at night, making sure I'm getting good sleep. Uh, but yeah, just the nutrition throughout the day, man. That's it. A lot of calories, a lot of good carbs, consistent. Like I don't try to eat big heavy meals. Yeah, I'll have like a decent sized breakfast and lunch, but nothing too heavy at once because that'll really spike your insulin and that'll sort of put you in like a lull. So it's like more of like a gradual, you know, I actually learned this from Hinman. More of a, I'm not a big heavier breakfast guy. It's like you build your calories throughout the day. You know, I'm eating more as I go through the day, and that's helped me a lot. And just staying hydrated, a lot of electrolytes, a lot of water. AG1 helps a lot with that kind of stuff. Like just constant nutrients and, you know, good shit inside of you, and you'll have that sustained energy.
No, absolutely. I think that's a really good point to speak upon. And also, again, yeah, shout out our good friend Eric Hinman for always giving us good advice for different, whether it's nutrition or working out or just life itself. Guys,
Dominating life.
yeah,
Showing
yeah,
us
no,
how to live. Like, oh,
yeah. There's multiple people who have said it, but I'll go ahead and say it again. He is a salt of the earth. He's a real good human. But yeah, I mean, when you're balancing all of this between your woodworking and trying to feel the body, it seems like you've noticed a lot of changing in your eating habits, whether it's you're doing smaller portions and building these calories throughout the day, or, you know, whether it's you're doing a half marathon or now the Hi-Rox. So have you seemed to notice a lot of these changes be pretty present?
without a doubt, yeah. Especially different types of training. Obviously, when I'm doing these more marathon blocks, the marathon preps, I'm running 5 times a week, maybe lifting once or twice. That's why I hated it. I love lifting weights, but yeah, it's like what works for me. You know, like constantly, especially in being like an athlete, like you're constantly, you know, changing stuff up, but it's also like once something works, it works, and you're sticking with it. But you know your body so well. You know, like really understand your body. You're really in tune with how your body's going to react and like, you know, certain things. So, I mean, I guess I'm able to. It's like a constant experiment with myself, you know. But you know, it just depends on what I'm doing, what I'm training for. So yeah, it's a constant work in progress. Almost, you know, like you're constantly tweaking small little things. What time in between certain things? What supplements to take at certain times? Oh, well, this doesn't really work with in the morning. Maybe take this at night. It's just a constant, you know, I don't know,
No,
calculation
I
or something. You know,
I get it. I get
yeah,
it.
it's like a scientist.
It's definitely something that I think a lot of people out there can relate to, is that your body is this just giant experiment for you to do all these different things with, whether you're supplementing or you're handling it with a diet or a different type of way you're, you know, consuming carbs or protein, this, that, or the third. So I understand what you're saying, where it constantly seems to be like this experiment where we're just trying to find out what the best answer is with these variables and get these results for different executions, whether it's for a marathon, whether it's for a half a marathon, or even just a 10K, or if you're talking about Hi-Rox, or if you're talking about, you know, some other, you know, the Arnold classics. I don't know. Like there's completely different standards when it comes to these different ways that people experiment. And speaking of experimentation, have you found by like trying different diets or strategies, whether you're training for X, Y, or Z, that you've actually found things that work the best?
There's a lot of it. I'm usually just sticking with the same base. I sort of have to, but some tweaks here and there. Nothing too drastic though. The calories are still coming in. A lot. It's pretty similar all year round. Maybe some small different things depending on what I'm doing. How much more carbs I'll need certain or after a workout, especially in running and stuff like that. Because I look at my watch like, oh, I just burnt 1,600 calories. I'm like, shit. All right, I got to replenish that and then some. And then the salt and the sodium intake. So it just really all depends. It's a constant, but usually just small tweaks.
Nice.
Everything's pretty similar all year round. Or
for sure.
I'm going, Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, being out in the East Coast, you have so much good food culture around you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you guys are known. You guys are known for it all, man. I mean, sandwiches,
I'm very fortunate.
pizza, you name it. It's oh my gosh, like the list goes on and on and on. How do you handle like any temptations with any unhealthy food, or do you have any cravings that you have to like kind of balance? I mean, obviously you could probably every now and again enjoy something, but are there any like,
man.
Yeah.
I'm like an 80-20 person. During the week, I'm very dialed in. Weekend, maybe on Saturday night, Friday night, depending. Like, I'm doing hosting a Hi-Rox workout tomorrow morning, almost like a full sim. It's gonna be pretty gnarly. So I've already got more carbs in today, sort of like a carb load thing. Yeah, I eat, man. I'm telling you, especially with my metabolism, I'm very fortunate. Like, I can sort of eat what I want. I don't, but I said it can. I do lay off on like the sweets and that processed sugar and all that garbage. I do eat well. At night I have a sweet craving sometimes. A small bowl of ice cream or like a cookie, something. I need like something small, or maybe a piece of chocolate after I eat dinner. Nothing crazy. But yeah, like I just said, 80-20, you have to have that discipline. And I love to eat. I'm an eater, especially having a fast metabolism, like I'm a fat kid at heart. I was never heavy, but I can eat like a maniac. People always looking at me like I'm crazy, but I'm fortunate. I sort of can eat what I want. I don't, but like I said, right in my area where we are right now, it's like an Italian food mecca. Like right up the street there is one of Dave Portnoy's top-rated pizzerias in the country. Literally half a mile up the road. I can go run there now. It's called the Angeloni's. Yeah, it's incredible. So it's like everything's so accessible. I'm in the city once or twice a week, New York City. So the food out there is incredible. So but the thing is, like, hanging out with like-minded people and people I'm always associating myself with. Nobody else is eating like shit. Like, it's not like anyone I'm hanging out with is going to McDonald's or any of that kind of stuff.
No.
So we'll go to a coffee shop, or everyone around is usually eating pretty well as well. So it's just sort of who you hang around with and putting yourself in those scenarios or situations. So
no, I totally understand that, because you are what you eat socially as well, and people kind of don't ever put two and two together that if the group is suggesting that we go eat something unhealthy, then everybody else is probably going to go along with it, or, kind of just follow the flock. And so that's usually what happens in these situations over time, is that people don't realize that, you can do that every now and again, but don't make it a habit, to be eating that unhealthy, especially if you're talking about like, fast food chains and stuff like that. Like, you don't want to have that as a part of your regular habit, but I understand 80-20 is I talk to so many athletes that are kind of in this 80-20, 85-15 rule about things. And I think that actually keeps a little bit of a healthier balance with your relationship with food, because you get to live both lifestyles of enjoying something that's not going to be catastrophically damaging to your training, but 80% of the time you're completely dialed in. Everything is where it's supposed to be. Protein, calories, carbs, good to go. So, I mean, I think that's a good way to look at it with people, because honestly, there's not enough emphasis that people have in, you're going to have cravings. You want that cookie at night. You don't want a slice of pizza every now and again. I mean, we are already conditioned to enjoy these things because we've already enjoyed them. So, I think it just becomes this thing of just trying to find what that balance is and having a real relationship with food. Would you consider yourself having a pretty healthy relationship with food at this point?
Oh, without a doubt, always have, especially like being so active as a kid, playing multiple sports, I skateboarded, surfing, snowboarding, football, baseball, wrestling, like it was always active. So I was always eating pretty well, decently, I was drinking protein shakes and stuff like that and eating pretty well, even in high school for football and wrestling, because you needed quality nutrition to perform. But also like, even getting back to that 80-20, like I think of it this way, like ground beef, right? 80-20. So a good quality ground beef, people like try to shy away. If you have a good grass-finished ground beef, you can get the 80-20. Like, oh, the leaner. No, you need that good 20% fat. It's actually good for you. Your body needs that. That's why I just actually had some before. 80-20 ground beef is the way to go because you need that fat. Think of it in the food aspect. It's good for you to have that little treat or something like that here and there. Because if you're depriving yourself of, like, if you're super strict and that's it, trust me, you're going to have a bad relationship with food. Like it's going to be better in the long run and in the bigger picture, and it's going to be more sustainable to have that little bit extra, treat or sweet tooth or whatever, you may say. And that's why I always think of it like the ground beef, people try to stay away from the 80-20, try to go leaner. I'm like, trust me, you actually need that good fat. So
I agree.
It's almost like a little weird correlation, but it sort of works.
No, I mean, I used to tell people all the time when I was a butcher that the 80-20 ground beef is much, much better for you.
You need that fat. Your body needs that fat, especially a good grass-fed, grass-finished ground beef. That's good stuff.
It's good for your brain.
Yes, all that. Yeah. Oh yeah. So we can get, that's a whole nother discussion,
Absolutely. Today's episode is brought to you by SAPS. Staying hydrated is crucial, whether you're working out, working hard, or just going about your day. SAPS is not just any hydration drink. It's packed with electrolytes and essential minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium that help you rehydrate faster and more effectively than water alone. It's perfect for those hot summer days, intense gym sessions, hanging out with friends late night, the sauna, or even if you're just feeling under the weather. What I love about SAPS is that it's not loaded with sugar like many other sports drinks out there. It has just the right amount of sweetness and a refreshing taste that makes staying hydrated enjoyable. Plus, it's available in a variety of delicious flavors, so there's something for everyone. Whether you're an athlete, a busy professional, or someone who just wants to feel their best, SAPS has got you covered. And the best part? You can get SAPS delivered right to your door. Just visit sapsoriginal.com and use the promo code MEATMAN15 to get 15% off your order. That's sapsoriginal.com and use the promo code MEATMAN15 to get 15% off your order. So why wait? Hydrate smarter and feel better with SAPS. It seems like you have an overall good relationship with food, and it seems that things are even keeled. Do you do any meal prepping currently for your training?
It's just small to extent. Like I said, I'll prepare. I've been doing ground beef and bison. I do a lot. I'm a big bison guy. Bison patty burgers. Bison. I'll just do. Yeah, it's phenomenal. So nutrient dense, and it's got a good flavor. The bison burgers are my shit. But like ground beef with just rice, and I'll just have that like for lunch or something, easy on the go. Right now, I don't. I want to get involved in a meal prep program. I was actually approached by a company out of New York. They're actually like New Jersey, New York, to work with them at a great discount and, promote their product. So hopefully that's something in the near future I get involved with. I would like to. I think it makes it streamlined, and actually, it'd be cheaper than getting food and stuff like that, so. I would like to eventually meal prep more.
No, absolutely. And yeah, there's a lot of really good meal prep companies out there that are actually doing things the right way and handling people's macro needs to an efficient level. I have a friend who was experiencing some like high cholesterol issues and went on, and I think trying to think of the name of the company. I believe it was either Factor or like one of the other ones. Yeah, that really really helped him change his game up, especially with his like working out, because he's not really training for anything. He was just trying to like lose weight and be more metabolically healthy. And I think people being companies are finally wising up to not chalking it up with a bunch of sodium and hiding a bunch of seed oils and other stuff. They're actually promoting grass-fed meals that are sourced properly. And sourcing is the biggest thing. Sourcing is like that's more important than anything, in my opinion, because where you source it ultimately is what's going in your body. So it's like that's the most important thing. Do you have any rituals or like routines that are related now to your food habits to balance your lifestyle in the woodworking shop and your training?
Routines or rituals for food. I mean, I always have my hydro jug with me, fill electrolytes, and that helps me a lot. In the wood shop, I rarely eat in the wood shop. Maybe just a lot of snacks. Like I'll have bars and stuff like that. It's the thing is, wood shop's weird. I do. It's like more of a sense of like there's more of a not nervousness, but like I feel like I'm burning more calories in a wood shop. Not like I'm just saying in general. Just even if I'm not doing anything too intense, because you're a little bit on edge about like maybe a project that has to get done, or you're like more of that like focused in zone thing. So I'm like constantly thirsty and hungry. I'll leave there hungry as shit. Or if I'm not eating, so I'm constantly eating in the shop, small things, keeping electrolytes, keeping the water going through, so. But a ritual, not really, not particular. No, I don't know.
No, absolutely. I mean, speaking of hydration, that's very important. I always touch upon with people that, it's not just about the food that fuels you, it's your water too. Water is a complete source of life's energy, and it's definitely as important as your food. And it's definitely one of those things that you want to consume a lot of electrolytes. No matter who you are, I think that that's kind of become a thing that not just athletes anymore are starting to consume a lot of electrolytes. That's a huge movement that I'm a big fan of.
Me too. Yeah. I'm constantly pushing that, even, preaching that to people in general. Just the fact of when you first wake up, like anyone, people do it. Like it blows my mind. Yeah, I probably did it for a while too. Though when you first wake up, you're drinking coffee. You're dehydrated. Your organs, you have nothing really. You're sort of dried out in there, and you're gonna drink coffee, like that type of thing. Instead of like, I'm like, you have to drink water, and then even putting electrolytes in it is even way better. But still, like, the average person is electrolyte deficient. They don't consume enough water or quality sodium. Because people think like, oh, sodium, like there's different types of salt and stuff like that, and you have to be careful. Especially your magnesium, phosphorus levels, all that kind of stuff. The average person just not consuming enough. And since I've been really drinking, like, electrolytes and really introducing all that, I can't remember the last time I had a headache. Like if I had the flu a couple weeks ago, and that's really it. But it's been unbelievable. Like your brain clarity and your just overall energy, your awareness in the morning, throughout the day. It's such a game changer. It really is. And it's something so simple.
Shout out to water and electrolytes, people.
Oh yeah, get your salts in. Element, baby, all day.
Get your salts in, people. Dude, I love Element.
Element, citrus.
That and
it's
then
like that, it's like a lemon lime. I just do it every morning. Chug it down.
Yep.
Great.
Redmond's has a really good one as well. It's called Relight.
Yeah, people love that. I haven't tried that yet. People love that.
It's fire.
Switchback, Jeremy Miller's new company.
Yep, him and Brock Covington's company.
That's
I was
right,
just about to say, I have some of the orange cream in my house.
You do, yeah.
Yeah, I really like the berry flavor too. It's really good.
I haven't tried them. I still got to give that a shot.
It's really good. It's affordable as well as it's very sustainable, and I like the mix of the crystals and the flavor. And that orange creamsicle flavor is out of this world. It tastes like an orange creamsicle.
I'm a sucker for creamsicle. I'm a big orange guy, you know. Always have an orange starburst, you know, like the great creatine gummies. That's orange is still my favorite.
But yeah, Element is actually involved with us at Ragbri as well this year. So
sick.
Yeah,
Awesome.
they sent like 90 90 packets or so to Matt Ricard.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we're gonna have that on the race. Super excited about that. So a little bit of a segue into kind of like we were talking about earlier with fueling and the healthiest foods that you can have for, you know, things throughout your day. But most people kind of view a lot of quote unquote like healthy food as like it's not going to taste good. Do you have anything that you enjoy the most that you feel like fuels your body, but also satisfies your taste buds in this like just astronomical way?
Breakfast foods. I mean, simple eggs and that kind of stuff, you know, the protein pancakes, that kind of stuff. I still love shakes, you know, because I've been drinking protein shakes since I was in like high school. So people like, with me, like, it doesn't have to be really good for me to just chug it down. Like, oh, that was good. Like, to other people, like, that's disgusting. Like, this is good. Like, you have no clue. Like, you don't know what bad protein shakes taste like.
Yeah.
So, you know, people have no clue where all of that, everything has come, like how far, all of those supplements, everything used to be disgusting. And this is 20 something years ago, you know, back when I was in high school. But, you know, good quality meat, good quality burgers, you know, bison, people even smell bison and like, this is disgusting. I'm like, it's fucking awesome. Just seasoned correctly, simple stuff, man. I'm a big, you know, fan of just keeping it simple. I haven't really tried like organs, like liver and stuff like that. Gotten into that. You know, but nothing too crazy, you know, nothing. I've actually been making, it's like a big thing. I've seen you do it, the protein ice cream. I actually made something by accident. I had a core, you know, the core protein, what company is that? Like the big with a 42 gram protein one. Put that into a blender with 2 scoops of this. I'm a big fan of this protein. It's from Momentous. It's in a recovery because it's got carbohydrates in it too and other stuff for the recovery. 3 scoops of that, so a lot of protein, and had it, blended it, and put it on the counter. Forgot about it, and like sort of like I went to pour it into a container, and it like froze up, but it wasn't like that solid. So I was like, all right, I got a spoon, and it was like, this is like a Frosty from Wendy's. You know, it was delicious. So I've been messing around with that at night now. I haven't made it wasn't like an ice cream, but it was like a thicker milkshake, and I've just been crushing those every night with like 70 grams of protein. It's been great. So that's been really satisfying my ice cream crave, you know.
I've been doing this thing.
I want to really start doing that.
Oh yeah, I've been doing this thing that I learned from from Hinman. Is you take frozen blueberries and you let them sit in the fridge for just a little bit because that frozenness like kind of they start to thaw out and they're not as like icy cold, and then you blend up a little bit of colostrum with like heavy cream or, you know, even a little bit of like A2 or like, you know, thicker milk will work. And if you froth it up with one of those, if you have one of those frothers and you add some colostrum in there and kind of make this like,
colostrum probably acts as like an agent, like a combining agent, you know, because colostrum can be like tough to mix in some stuff. You know, it does clump up sometimes. That's interesting.
Yeah. So the milk though and the cream together makes it even thicker. And then you pour that over the frozen blueberries and then you just douse it in honey. And it is so good because it's like sweet and creamy and it's good for you. It satisfies my sweet tooth, but it's also like the honey and the blueberries and everything together is just, it's
good
so
carbohydrates
good.
too. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's good for at nighttime too.
Night thing for you?
Just because
I'm a big raw honey at night, great before you go to bed. No?
Yeah, I mean it's really perfect for me. So you were touching upon recovery earlier because you were talking about how that kind of frosty, you know, mix is good for recovery. What's kind of your favorite go-to meal after like a long, you know, pretty intense workout?
good shake. I was doing the Creatures of Habit. It's like a oatmeal powder, but I was using that into a shake, like making that into a shake.
That's what I do. Really I don't make it as overnight oats.
Yeah,
I use it as shakes.
I was using that since it was called the Protagonist. It was a totally different like name of the company, and then doing it hot, and it was not great. And I was just eating it anyway. Like I said, like if it's good for you, I was like, fuck it, I'll just eat it. Even like Chernow like changed it. It's not even like he doesn't even recommend doing it hot at all. It's like now it's an overnight cold thing because it does taste better that way. Yeah, maybe an oatmeal. English muffins. I crush those. I'm still just off to do some nice, good quality grass-fed butter with cheese on an English muffin. I'll crush. Even I do that like for a quick snack before I work out, just for a quick carb. Eggs. Keep it simple. That momentous protein's great. Honey, yeah, honey's phenomenal for after recovery because that is like that's like an old bodybuilding thing, and also like for endurance athletes. Like if you drink your protein after you work out, like scoop of honey, just because that quick carb will get everything into your blood system faster.
Mm-hmm. You know?
So you'll recover better, trust you, and you'll sleep better with the honey at night because what it does to your insulin and it regulates your blood sugar. You will fall asleep faster with the scoopful of honey. So yeah, it's actually nothing crazy. Quality,
It's good knowledge.
Without a doubt. Oh yeah.
No, I mean that's good because it seems like you're so dialed in that you wouldn't even notice because it's so routine. It's so the same. It's so like ingrained in your mind that I mean, even if you made the slightest change of correlation to food, I can see it probably affecting your performance with your training.
Yeah, it depends when, like if I was pre-workout, it'd have to be like hours before, depending on what I'm eating, yeah, like if I'm going to eat something a little wild, I'm probably not going to be working out the next morning, usually it's on a Saturday night because Sundays I take it easy, or I'll go for like a ruck where I don't have to go, I'm not being great, energy for that. It's like more of a, low impact chill thing. So it all depends on what I'm doing, yeah.
And I kind of picture Hi-Rox being like an adult version of like a high school meet, like an athlete meet, like a wrestling, because do you have any time to eat there, or do they have stations? That's the thing, is it's just stuff in your bags, or like
they got like a water drinks, like a little. It's called like the rock zone, like in between. You can like either run to your next station or just grab a couple things to power lift and water. Before, people are slamming gels like marathon.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. And stuff like that.
Like here and there, a couple little bit. You got to eat hours before. It's super intense. It's chaos. Hi-Rox is nuts. It's like you're at like zone 3 threshold, 7.5, 8 out of 10 the whole time.
It's loud in there.
It's nothing chill. It's fucking chaos. I love it. That's why.
Yeah.
I love high energy shit. I'm very, very like. I love my chill, like be in the mountains, relaxing, or I'm fucking going crazy. Like I love the energy. That's why I love New York City so much.
No, absolutely. That's
my shit.
That's what I was saying. Is that like
right up my alley?
Even though it's just one singular event, when I was in high school and I was a swimmer, like swim meets were just so popping. Like everybody's got their
nuts.
They got their bags. Everyone's got their snacks and their Gatorade or whatever, and they're sneaking bites and sips and. Little clips of this and that. So I can picture, like I said, it's an adult version of that, but just on steroids.
But it's like anything else. Like even before a marathon, you're up. I had this half marathon started at 7. I was up at 3:30. Got to get your food in early, couple hours before, get your carbs, and then like 2 hours before you're eating like another like a Morton bar. These like high carbohydrates.
I've seen those.
An hour before another, Morton's like a company that makes gels and like, race
gels and
or just, stuff like that. And then like an hour before banana, another Morton gel, like it's very, very dialed in as well. And same thing with Hi-Rox, same thing with any of that kind of stuff. Like it's crazy. You got that 4-hour block before people are fucking ripping gels on the start line or banana or even, it's crazy, but everyone's very dialed in and very, strategic.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, do you manage portion size or calorie intake at all? Or is that something you ensure you meet energy levels or to overeating, Yeah.
No, not really. I was never big into macros and stuff like that. Protein, yeah. I make sure I'm getting enough protein.
Me too.
I try to eat as much carbs as I can every day. That's it. How much can you eat?
No,
that
I
I'm
know what you
burning,
mean.
that I'm not starving, but I can't eat a lot at once. So it's just, it's what works. I don't have to, I guess.
No, I know what
I
you
try
mean.
to. I mean, I weigh myself every morning. I think it was weird. This last couple of days, like I thought I lost weight yesterday and gained like a pound. So,
Yeah.
just had a crazy workout, didn't eat that much after. And it's just like, I don't know. My body's crazy. I don't get it anymore.
No, I get it. I've recently just started adding in actually 50 more grams of carbs into my diet because it is actually helping me with my biking.
Oh, hell yeah. Oof. All of that. Any endurance thing, dude. Carbohydrates are your best friend. And that's why they get that such misconception, especially like in health and wellness and like athletes. Well, no, because people think like, oh, healthy eating, you just cut out the carbs. You want to lose weight. Like you need carbohydrates. That's your fuel source, especially as an athlete. Like that's crucial. You don't have carbs, you're not going anywhere,
Yep. And you said it right there, fuel source too, because I think people get the wrong idea because they get carbohydrates from garbage sources.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't be eating, bagels, but just a lot of that kind of stuff.
You can eat all the New York bagels you want, though.
Yeah, Jersey. Yeah, dude, we got good ones out here. That's the thing. I'll eat like a day or day before, a couple bagels before a race, just to have that in.
Yeah,
but
I'm just it's just your guys' bread quality is just king. Yeah, like it's
our water.
Just,
that's why.
Yeah,
the water.
100%.
Our quality water. We have great tap water because it comes from the Adirondacks. It's a lot of high mineral content. That's why our bread is so good for pizza and for bagels and whatnot.
The legendary water.
That's it, man.
And because you were just saying earlier that you don't even track your food. You don't use any tools or apps or any monitors.
Never have.
No, that's great.
Never have.
Have you even ever consulted? Right? No, you're fine. Have you even ever consulted with a nutritionist or a dietitian to optimize your diet or dual, pursuits?
Never. I've done obviously a whole panel from Get Blokes. But that was like small tweaks in certain supplements I should use and more fat. I should be eating more fat, like more omegas, more of that kind of stuff. Some small tweaks, but never really a dietitian. No, not really. I've never really needed it. I don't know. I'm pretty good with myself. Like I know myself well enough where that's why it's every day is like a test or something like that. Like I don't know. It's constant trial and error. That's what works today. Well, that didn't really work. Maybe I'm feeling it now. Well, maybe I need 2 hours in between these two meals, or maybe I should eat a banana earlier or not this early in the morning because it gives me this. Like, it's constant, just messing around, small tweaks here and there throughout the day. I don't think there'll ever be a perfect, I don't know. Maybe I'm too crazy.
No, absolutely, man. I mean, it seems like you've got everything dialed in. Nutrient dense foods. You've got your carbs taken care of. Protein is at an all-time high. So, I mean, pats on the back and, good job to you, man. I mean, it seems like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
It's a lot. I'm trying, I love competitive, I love running and all that racing. It's so fucking great. Like I need it. I need this exercise and all this type of stuff. Especially it's such a good thing for your mental health. It's just as much for your mental health, for your physical health, and then you want to feel good. Like I'm competitive. I know what I'm capable of, and I believe in myself, in my ability. So, if you're not fueled correctly, you're going to you're doing yourself a disservice, so you want to be able to perform at your highest, or at least, know that you have, you want to be able to perform, like give it all you got. Like, so at least you knew you ate right, you did this and that. And the only thing that hindered your performance was maybe just your ability. And at least you can't take, like, oh man, maybe I'm just not fast enough. And that's okay. Like, I'm fine with that. But if I just didn't fuel correctly or something like that, like that's going to be a problem. And that's more of a, if it's something that's in your control, then I would have a problem with it. But, like I said.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's great because like, it seems like this is something you want to do for as long as you can. And you want to continue to compete and play recreational sports as well as participate in recreational activities. So fueling your body, you said it perfectly, is that, I want to do this for a long time. So I want to fuel properly and, keep, because as well as you mentioned earlier, sauna, cold plunge, you got the ice barrel in the backyard. It's all these things that I don't think people realize, that as you get older, finding out what really makes your body tick as far as the fuel goes, getting out there and moving, whether it's just walking a lot or if you want to start getting into strength training or running or whatever it is, but just fuel for that activity and move and then pretty much just recover properly. And it kind of just seems like a no-brainer, but it's really hard for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, exactly. Well, a lot of people don't understand what goes into it. They, there's a lot more involved than people think, Like I post a lot on Instagram stories and shit like that, but I might tell people, I'm like, yeah, that's like 25% of my life. Like most of my life isn't posted on Instagram. Like there's a lot you guys don't know behind the scenes. I'm not constantly, because some of these creators, I'm not that much like content creators are literally, here's what I'm eating at this time at lunch and this. I'm barely showing that because I'm just like, I don't have time for that. But yeah, like what I eat every day, all that kind of stuff. Like even what we're talking about today, all my habits throughout the day. I don't really share that. It's just,
no, I loved your video where you're like, it doesn't matter what I ate in the day because everybody's fucking different.
Before the half marathon, because like I was literally laying in bed, like before races, like it's hard to sleep. You get antsy and anxious.
It's like Christmas.
So I was literally laying in bed. Yeah, of course. Like you wake up, like all right, let's fucking go. So I was like thinking about that in the night before. And I love just making people laugh. I have crazy sense of humor, So I was like, I'm like, oh yeah, a bunch of bologna sandwiches, like a mustard-filled donuts, or like a mayonnaise milkshake, just like, because I was literally not like mocking, but there's a lot of creators like, oh, here's what I eat before this, here's what I do, like, okay, we get it. You're just trying to make something, like just trying to fill in that content. Like, who gives a shit? Because everyone's different, like, and pretty much everyone's eating the same thing. Everyone's eating these bagels. They're eating, English muffins with eggs, and they're like, okay, like we get it now. Like it's nothing. I don't want people to take it personal, but it was just something funny I thought of while I was in bed.
No, it's comical. It's comic relief.
Yeah,
I love
it was
that.
Like 3:30 in the morning. I'm setting up my camera or my phone, just random shit. But I was like, yeah, who gives a shit? It's funny.
No,
it's
dude,
something different.
I love that kind of comic relief. My buddy Bobby made a couple of posts that was just a tomato sandwich, and it was said like 65 grams of protein.
Yeah. People thought I was serious.
I mean,
well, not serious, but like one person was like, I was waiting for the bologna sandwiches to come out. Like, you think I'm eating 6 bologna sandwiches and a mayonnaise milkshake before running fucking a 140 half marathon? Like,
yeah, or that one guy that just ran. Who's that guy that just ran all the way across from LA to New York?
Africa. Oh, he was just there. I had a bunch of buddies to meet up with him. It's literally like he ended up running through like Hoboken and not far from me. Like
Paul something rather?
Yeah, I totally forget his name. But yeah, that wasn't too long ago. I had some friends running out there with him. Pretty cool.
No, that's really cool. Forget. Yeah, no, I've seen some of those like carb bombs that they make where it's like pancakes with Oreos in them.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. There's some. With like ultra races. That's what's funny. Like I was just trying to explain to my dad. Like I was making him watch this like ultra documentary on YouTube. And it's like you got these 100, 200 mile races, and these people at the aid stations just ripping down Coca-Cola and just fucking like potato chips and stuff. And he's like, "How is this healthy for you?" This and that. Like it doesn't matter. Once you're in that, like at the time, they're eating like fucking robots all the way up to it. Now they're not eating that kind of shit every day. But once it's like race time, you need that quick sugar. You need that, like, it's just consume. Doesn't matter. He was just dumbfounded that they were eating all this garbage and stuff like that, running 100 miles through the woods. It's just funny what the people eat. I'm trying to get more into the long distance trail running. Like I've done trail races, but they've been like sprints, which those are gnarly. Like all right, it's a 7 miles, but you're running 8 miles, minute miles through the woods, like literally just like it's insane. But like the more distance ones I want to get into this summer, some 50 miles, and then I'm doing a 200-mile race in Oregon. It's a relay in August, which I'm stoked about. So I think that obviously the nutrition's gonna be a little wacky out there too. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So that's what you got coming up is like some is these races and then the Hi-Rox.
Oh yeah, it's Hi-Rox. That's in June. I think I got some friends that putting it together. It's like 2 weeks after actually 3 weeks after Hi-Rox, the 50-mile trail loop that like you could just jump in. You could do 20 miles or whatever. That's like in South Jersey. So I have some friends hosting that. I might jump in, maybe just get like a 50K in like 33 miles. We'll see. I haven't really been training for that kind of distance. But and then there's the it's called Hood to Coast. It's like one of the oldest like relays in America. I guess it's a pretty known one. That's 200 miles in Oregon. August, and then November I'm running New York City Marathon, and I think that's it for the year. Yeah, I'm set up. Awesome. Every couple months I got some shit going. I love that. I love having just stacked stuff. You know, it just keeps things just so interesting, and you know, it's so motivating.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for sharing all of your thoughts on your nutrition with your Hi-Rox training and everything else you got going on. I can't tell you how much. Yeah, dude. Can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on here at Clean Plates and just
appreciate you having me, dude. Without
sharing your relationship with food.
That I appreciate it so much, man.
Absolutely, dude. So yeah, I'll definitely have you on again in the future. I'd love that. Love to keep up. I'll be keeping up with all of your Hi-Rox stuff and your races. And where can people find you and follow you for more of your content?
Mostly just on Instagram. That's Stephen Sirvan, Stephen Sirvan, Stephen Sirvan. Just my full name. I had a TikTok, but I don't really use it much. We'll see what happens with the China and that ban. Facebook, I'm really getting back onto. It was mostly my woodworking stuff was on Facebook. I have a website and all that kind of stuff for my woodworking. Yes.
And what's your woodworking website?
It's just SirvanCustomWoodco.com. It's simple. I still have to update it. There's been the last couple months, there's been like a hiatus in my wood business, just due to my shops and stuff like that moving, you know, so it's been a little bit of a freeze. And like you'll see my Instagram right now, it's a little bit mostly fitness and stuff like that, but now I'm getting back into the woodworking content, which I'm super excited about.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Stephen Sirvan.
You're an extremely talented woodworker, so people need to know that.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, I hope you have a good rest of your evening, and everyone else, thank you so much for joining us today. And remember to keep your plates clean and your hearts full. Thank you for joining me today on our flavorful journey here at Clean Plates. If you enjoyed our exploration into the world of food and the stories behind our eating habits, be sure to subscribe where you get your podcasts. And don't forget to share your own food stories on my personal page at Brian Waterleaf or the Clean Plates podcast page on Instagram. And remember, every plate has a story and we are here to discover them together. So stay curious, keep exploring, and continue to nurture your relationship with food. I'm Brian Romaine, and until